Well, it's not just America where students are protesting in support of Palestinians. More student-led protests have popped up outside the US in countries like Australia, Germany and the UK as the Israel-Hamas war enters its 7th month. An ongoing standoff between students, police and university administrators has sparked tension in Paris at the well-renowned Sciences Po University. Protests by students against Israel has entered their second week in France, with Sciences Po becoming the focal point of student protests, although the protests are much smaller in scale than those seen in the US. According to reports, the police entered the Sciences Po University to remove dozens of students staging a sit-in at the entrance hall.
The provisional director of sciences at the university called the police and they took us out. There were police brigades with cordons. I don't know exactly which brigade it was. They took us out. The police swept away our Palestinian flags and kicked away our messages of peace. Then they took us out, checked our belongings and also checked our identity cards.
Students from several universities have also gathered to protest outside the Pantheon in Paris, some of whom had been evicted from sit-ins and even occupations.
Le Premier ministre a rappelé évidemment juste.
The Prime Minister quite rightly pointed out that the freedom of demonstration and freedom of expression is one thing, but blocking schools is quite another. So this morning I called in the police, the third time in 8 days at Sciences Po, at the request of the school management, and that's the only way I can involve the police. So we are firmly reiterating that blockades are not acceptable, and when we are called upon, we will intervene.
In Germany, the police broke up a pro-Palestinian demonstration at a university in Germany, arresting several protesters and university students. The protesters who wore keffiyehs in solidarity with the Palestinians staged a sit-in at the entrance of the university's main building in central Berlin, shouting slogans such as "Free Gaza," "Germany stop arms shipments to Israel," and "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free." According to a Berlin police spokesperson, several people will be investigated for using hate speech, assault and resistance against the authority. Student-led demonstrations have also taken place in Manchester, Newcastle and across the UK. At the Newcastle University, students have set up tents outside campus buildings. And protests have also erupted in the land down under. Hundreds of supporters of Israel and Gaza faced off at a Sydney university. Rival demonstrators came eye to eye, shouting slogans and even waving flags.
I don't think that this movement makes Jews unsafe. I, as a Jew, do not feel unsafe marching in rallies or hanging out here. I think that making us feel unsafe is part of Israel's agenda. It's not a reflection of the reality on the ground.
The pro-Palestinian activists have set up encampment outside the sandstone main hall as they continue to demand the university should divest from companies with ties to Israel, much like students in the US and France. Pro-Palestine students have set up encampments at the University of Toronto, the University of British Columbia, and the University of Ottawa, with several camps being sprung up at major or other major Canadian universities. Law enforcement agencies are monitoring the situation as tensions rise. While in Mexico, students at the National Autonomous University of Mexico have gathered outside the institution's head office. According to reports, the protesters chanted "Long live Free Palestine," while they also urged the Mexican government to sever diplomatic and commercial ties with Israel. And in Cuba, hundreds of university students demonstrated in Havana in a pro-Palestinian rally. The students also criticized the American police for repressing students and professors at the universities. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.